how would you describe your art style?
I think I'm a brutal artist, not brutal in the negative way, but when something is written, it's forever. I'm not an artist going outside and sketching what I see. No, I see, I take pictures, I digest all this, and then they come back sometimes months later, but sometimes also years later. To get stuck somewhere where I didn't want to get stuck. I thought when I started I was 42, and I didn't even believe I would become an artist.
Welcome to the Canvas, and to start off this new season, I have a very special guest with me. She's someone who had traveled to different parts of the world and given workshops in terms of art, and her art style focuses on expressionism. So I have with me Fabienne Francotte. How are you doing, Fabienne?
I'm fine. I'm happy to be with you.
Likewise. So Fabienne, tell me, who are you as a person?
As a person. So yeah, my name is Fabienne Francotte. I'm from Belgium. I'm from Brussels. I'm a French speaker. I speak 4 languages because I used to be a language teacher. I'm an artist, and I'm based in Sri Lanka.
Okay, and now give me 3 characteristics that would define you.
I think I'm spontaneous, I'm impulsive, and I'm intense. Now I think I have also what the other people are telling about me is the empathy I feel for people, and the way I can get close to them and share, personal stories.
Do you think that can be shown in your art, or is it shown in your art?
It is. Basically, it's only that. In Brussels, for the years I remained in Brussels, I started when I was 42, so 20 years ago. I'm self-taught. But the years in Brussels were about me and my personal stories. Mm-hmm. When I came to Sri Lanka, all of a sudden, while being in contact with the people here, I decided to get closer to them and to make portraits about the different levels of the society, the different communities, the different religions, because Sri Lanka is also very intense. Mm-hmm. So, and also because I was drawing with 2 wards at the mental hospital and IMH at the time, and with deaf kids in Mahawa. I was just going to very different places, and I think it hit me. I felt close to them, so I started to depict what's behind the gaze of the Sri Lankans.
And you put those experiences on the canvas?
On the canvas, yeah, mostly.
So what is it now that you do professionally?
Yeah, I stopped working when I came to Sri Lanka almost 5 years ago. So now I'm dedicated only to this art world. It's a big adventure. And I'm more and more connected to what was already there inside me that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. The more we work, the more we understand what we are doing, why we are doing it, and how we can translate it and carry the people on board about your ways of seeing something they might see differently. But I'm focused on people. It's a bit difficult now with the COVID because, sometimes we are released, and then you meet the people, and then after that, you go back home, and then it's again you facing some issues. But all my projects were about the people, and the next one for 22 will be, I don't say a word about it, but it's something I've been working for 3 years now. Not on the canvas, but collecting stories, data, pictures in my notebooks.
So now you told me what your art is like inspired from. Usually it's the experiences and the people you meet. But how would you describe your art style? Like,
I think I'm a brutal artist, not brutal in the negative way, but it's all about an intuition and a kind of fuel inside that all of a sudden comes on the canvas. It's unpredictable. There are sometimes I just work like every day in an intense way on the canvas, and then I build up a series. And then I can also spend 3 months like going around, traveling, reading, visiting exhibition, listening to people, recording other stuff. Making all these photocopies about the pictures I take. I take a lot of pictures.
so you have like probably like storage like
Yeah.
like of all
Huge,
these all
huge.
these experiences.
I've got 40,000 pictures
Wow.
on my phone. So they were just linked to the cloud. I had to go for the cloud. But also there are all these 38 notebooks. I started to write in a diary when it was 1972. And because of lockdown in Brussels last time, I went back to read like when I was 15 years old. And it's interesting how I think we also forget what we've got inside.
Definitely.
And with computer, it's all about codes and texts that are going somewhere, like pictures, but we don't look at them, we don't go back. But when something is written, it's forever.
Wow.
And I think it's important.
I really like that perspective because I think maybe with text also it relies more on your imagination also of maybe
It's a slow motion process, writing. So you have to think, the words are coming, some of them are coming like by magic, and then for some other paragraphs, it's like, what are the words that you're going to find to describe what you have in your brain or in your soul or on the canvas as well. It's very difficult. It's an exercise. But while it's a flow, it's also a way to empty your mind. It's like for me, it became a way of living. I just can't live without my studio.
speaking of studio, what exactly do you need in your studio when you're producing your art?
Yeah, so I have another studio, which is, like a very small part of this one. And it's a studio where other things are happening. I think there is an impact of the place on you. Sometimes the place could be small or big, nice or even not nice, but it's like, it's a bubble. It's a place where you take all the risks and also where you have a total freedom.
To just be yourself.
I'm not an artist going outside and sketching what I see. No, I see, I take pictures, I digest all this, and then they come back sometimes months later, but sometimes also years later.
Any favorite piece or specific piece you'd like to talk about that might be your favorite or something that is special to you?
Yeah, my books, the way I collect everything. This not on a daily basis, but they are all chronological. And what is important is that when you start a new piece of work like these jungle, bunch of flowers on the ground, I thought I would never, ever draw a flower, okay? Because maybe in my mind it was too Lassener, and I'm not like a person who is looking to draw beautifully. Not that I want my pieces to be ugly, but I try to avoid that kind of perfection that is putting you in a box, in fact, and focusing more on the technique than on what is really the raw material you have inside. But then I thought they were new. When they appeared, it was like, oh gosh, look, it's like it's not me doing it. But then I went back to, I think it was a year ago when I went to Manar and I collected these pieces of wood of this palmyra on this landscape like a desert. And then it was like there were some drawings and it was already there. But when it happens, you don't see it because you just keep going, keep working. I think what is also important is the work you deliver, not for any special event or art festival or exhibition. It's the daily work of what you're doing that is making it happen. If we don't work, it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. And you want to just be happy with the result yourself, because I feel that's what your art mostly focuses on.
Yeah, and also to have a surprise. I think we draw to get that kind of moment, like you say, what is this? Look, it could be something chemicals about some paint that you're using you never used. But while you do a mistake, there is always something happening. And then if you can work from this mistake to something else, but then it's like when you have like it's pleasure, like it's the volume is coming up. And I work only for this. If it's just to do something that I can do, I'm not sure I can even do something that I could do a second time. But yeah, this is like you just go and it's magic.
Judging from the way like you're so passionate about talking what you do, I know art is not something you take lightly, like not for fun, because we spoke earlier and you said it's something you don't take for fun. So talk to us more about that. What is art to you?
What is art? It's a way of being, a way of saying, a way of acting. Yeah, I remember my mom was just telling me like, keep quiet, like, and I think I tried. Like, be a diplomat. That was also because I was just like talking so frankly to the people about my thoughts and my stories. And but I think we don't change. Huh? I took advantage of all this, like becoming old. It's like I know what I don't want anymore, and it's just so good because it's like everything is getting stronger and stronger, and it comes out on a piece of paper. It's just like magic. I can't live with that.
It's like speaking without saying a word. You just speak through your art.
Yeah. And then when you see the people, it's like they speak also part of your vocabulary because they have a skin reaction. I think that's what they give to the people. Yeah, like I had one guy in Bangladesh who was looking at this exhibition about the Rohingya who was telling me, I don't know what this is about. And then he said, but look. And then I said I took it as a compliment. It was just so great. It's not only about me, it's just the fact that we share it. It provokes something that you get also something inside in your belly.
It triggers something in you. It triggers something like an experience. You feel something. So now I want to know, like, you were a teacher before. So talk to us about the journey from being a teacher to an artist.
So yeah, I went back to school when I was 36, I think. Before that, I worked in advertising and for the Wall Street Journal Europe. So, and so I went back to school with small kids, young kids. They were 6 years old, and I was a Dutch teacher, so we spoke Dutch together, but we built up these books where they were illustrating about the lesson, and I was just writing in calligraphy some words, and so then by looking at them, it was like there was such a freedom to deliver something. Like you don't think, you just do. Like there is no perspective, but we don't care. And when we enter a primary school, we are also always surprised. And it's like love at first sight with that drawing. It's so like talking to you. And then I started to draw as well. Like I won't think. And if it's unfinished, it's unfinished. And if it's not perfect, who cares?
Yeah.
And I started to send letters to the people, and then they were saying, Heidi, what happened to you? And later on, I went to college, and I decided that the Dutch course that I was giving was based on art and culture, and we were drawing as well. Mm-hmm. And these adolescents, they were just so feeling great about it. So I started to give some workshop, like, okay, we're going to spend 5 days together, start to study an artist, go to the museum, and do something about it.
Yeah.
Trying to express what we saw, what we felt, in a way or another. And this is, well, I'm doing some in Sri Lanka with different people, and it's always like so rich, so interesting.
Wonderful. I just now want to know, now this pandemic situation has been affecting almost every profession and all of us around the world. How has it affected you?
I became exile and a nomadic person. I'm shifting from one place to another according to the regulation and trying to surf and to make it still happen. Even if I'm based here, the fact that the family, my son is in Europe, I have to share also some time with Brussels and with Belgium, but it's like it requests an effort each time you move, and to restart the machine each time you come back, and then all of a sudden it affects all what you are producing as well. I'm suffering for not meeting the people, because my work is based on this.
Yeah.
And I hate this kind of conversation on Zoom, and it's difficult. It's like you speak to ghost people. It's like I can't feel them, and this is very difficult. Now, well, I think we'll have to make more efforts, because it's not the end of it. So I'm trying to stay alive, and I'm glued to my projects thinking that they're going to happen. So it's like I don't want to listen. I don't listen to politics, and I don't listen to these news that are going in all these directions, because I got mad. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to remain
positive,
nice with my husband first, because we are spending all the time together, and I try to stay focused to my work, to read. I read more than ever, and I write more than ever.
Were there times you ever wanted to maybe give up on art?
Never. And I will never be alone. No, this is like you are like a habitat, not only of you, yourself, but also of the others. So it's like you're many inside. So it's cool. It's great. I can't live without it.
And what is something you would like to just tell to people who maybe don't have much of an idea about art?
I think it's all about having passions and dreams. We don't need to have many, but we have to have a kind of engine inside that we can use when we are down or where it's difficult. Life is not just as simple as being happy.
Yeah.
This doesn't work. And each age, each chapter has this problem. It could be rich or poor. We are facing different issues, but life is not easy. So if we have a place where we can just be ourselves, protected, and counting on ourselves, it will be also easier to live with the others. And I think art, it could be drawing, dancing, playing music, writing. These are moments with ourselves that we can use as gifts with others, and that connect the people. It's like, when you have a nice teacher, you will always remember him or her. Why? Because he was passionate, he had the sense of humor, and he was also a hard worker. So I think with these three qualities, if we can move forward and take the risks, I mean, nobody has the solution. But we have to take risks, otherwise it doesn't happen and it doesn't work.
Absolutely. And now I want to know, what's one of the worst things you heard as an artist?
To get stuck somewhere where I didn't want to get stuck. I thought when I started I was 42 and I didn't even believe I would become an artist. But this was the marvelous adventure I had. Now, in the art world, bad experience. Well, sometimes you want to be part of an art festival and it doesn't happen because you're not chosen. I mean, the art world is also, I mean, a very tricky world because it's about visibility, but I mean, it's also about money and collectors. So, but I think if we are focused on work, it's a remedy against naughty or nasty stuff that could happen to you. And when we grow older, we finally get that ability to take some distance. Took me years, because I mean, I'm not that kind of I mean,
Confrontational?
no, yeah, I mean, like not to rush into it and to say what you think now. I mean, I became quieter than before because at the end, it's always coming back to you, and there's no point to suffer.
And anything you would now like to say to our audience or to those watching, maybe a future artist?
To remain free, to work, to take what you can take from books, exhibition, teachers, but to work and to continue more convictions, not to become a technician, and to collect and to record what you are facing, because this is all about it.
Thank you, Fabienne. It was lovely having you on this show.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
And that's all for today, and we hope to see you on the next episode of The Canvas.